What should I say? So it's like, do you want to know how I spend £96,000 on it? What should I say? Like, is it just loads of money in running a clothing brand? There must be.
No.
Okay.
So one of the questions that a lot of people, mainly friends, ask is they think obviously there's a lot of money in running a clothing brand. They think that there's not a lot of money involved in actually running one day to day. So I basically compiled a list of my expenses from one full tax year from 2017 to 2018. So it's a full 12 months. It includes every expense related to the business. And you might be shocked. Well, basically, to give you a bit of an overview of the business, I run my business from my house. So there's no expenses in regards to rent and stuff like that, like a lot of maybe of the bigger clothing brands might have. So you'd think, well, you might be entitled to think that the expenses would be quite little. But throughout that year, I actually spent £96,000. So I've got my list here to break down the main categories of how I did that. I'm still trying to figure it out myself, to be fair. So as you can probably guess, the biggest expense that I have is purchases, which is obviously all the stock, which ranges from everything from the big items like the tracksuits all the way down to stickers and lanyards. The way that it works at the moment, because I do quite bulk orders, I'll definitely have at least one bulk order for spring summer around April time, and then I'll have one big bulk order around September time for autumn winter. Each one of those at the moment is probably costing them between around £13,000 to £17,000. So you can imagine, as you have two of those at least a year, plus a few top-up orders. Also the headwear is ordered separately from different suppliers and stuff like that, all the way down to promotional items like stickers and lanyards. It does add up very quickly, and that's what totaled £54,000, which is the biggest expense that I have for the business. The second biggest expense is actually the freight and the postage. So that's basically all the packages day to day, and also the freight charges for the big orders coming in. So because they're coming from overseas, you're probably looking around £500 to £600 in shipping each time anyhow. That's if it comes via truck, which takes say 7 to 10 working days. But also if a production is delayed or you have any issues, you'll then want to rush it through and get it sent via plane, which obviously in turn then becomes a lot more expensive and can be like £700 to £900. So it seems quite a lot to be spending almost £14,000 on just getting your product either to you or out to your customer. The third biggest expense is I've categorized as website and advertising. So this is a bit of a one-off because this year was when I invested heavily in the website, so it wouldn't be nowhere near as high in other years, but that was £11,650, and that included a small amount of Facebook and Instagram adverts that I started to do at the time, and a few other forms of advertising. The fourth biggest expense at £6,130 is actually the vehicle, so the Owkay van. So that's made up of vehicle finance, the insurance for it, the tax, and then all the fuel for the year. Quite a big expense when you look at it. The fifth expense, £4,200, is actually the payment transaction fees. So as I use PayPal and Stripe for my payment providers, £4,200 goes to them in basically commission, which is like a fixed percentage they take per sale, which is quite a big chunk to give up. Expense number 6 is travel expenses, £1,920, which is obviously a combination of hotels, food, train tickets, flights, etc. Not too bad. I imagine a few other brands that are having big photo shoots and photo shoots abroad, that will probably be a lot higher. The seventh expense, again, which probably is a lot lower nowadays, is actually commission, which is £1,900, which is commission that I paid to celebrities and influencers in regards to them promoting the brand. As influencer marketing, in my eyes, doesn't work as well now, that's definitely an expense that's only getting smaller and smaller as the results become less and less. So the eighth, what do you call it? I'm saying that the eighth most expensive expense. The eighth expense. The eighth biggest expense. Because I keep saying expensive expense.
Just saying another expense.
Yeah. So another expense is the accountancy fees. That was around £700 to £800 for the year, which includes the accountants preparing the accounts at the end of the year, but then also doing quarterly VAT returns. So every 3 months you have a VAT return. Number 9 is professional subscriptions at £680, which is basically made up of, if you're a subscriber to our email newsletter, if you're not, you can sign up on the homepage. Basically little things like that have like a monthly fee of like £7, phone storage, other little bits, that it soon adds up to about £680 according to this. Number 10 is communication, so which is basically made up of a combination of like your phone and the internet bill. Number 11, which is not a weird one, but a bit, one that I don't like, is bank charges, which is £155. Through the bank that I'm with, HSBC, you basically pay a flat rate to have a business bank account, but then also when I do an international transaction, it's charged at something at like £17. So again, it's not the biggest expense at £155, but I prefer not to be able to have to pay it. And then number 12 is basically just all the other small costs, like you might have stationery. I've not got a figure for that, but obviously it's the difference, which basically at the end of the year meant that I'd spent £96,000 from my spare room. So I think that's quite an achievement. So that's basically a bit of an overview of what I've spent in regards to like other clothing brands, what might be a little bit different. Obviously I run mine from home, so I don't have other costs associated with having premises. I don't have any staff, which I imagine would be probably one of the largest expenses a company might have. The only major difference with this year compared with other ones was that the website and advertising was very high because I invested in the new website, which probably won't be the case in further years. But then at the same time, I'd imagine the advertising will come up because Facebook and Instagram ads are becoming a bit more important and something that I think every brand has to invest in. So yeah, that might be a bit of an eye-opener for some people to be spending almost, well, close to £100,000 from my spare room per year running this, what you might think obviously is a pretty small scale clothing brand. If there's any other videos that you think I should make, anything you want me to go into more detail on, just leave a comment and I'll try and answer them.